To close out our week looking at the VAR principles of link building, so volume, authority, velocity, the final letter and the A is anchor text. Now, I'm going to very quickly take you through some ways to look at anchor text and understand its impact it has on search engine rankings. Now, this probably won't be one of the most hands-on screencasts, so I apologise if we stay on this screen for a little while, but it is important in a couple of minutes if I can show you how to use the tool. So to start off, anchor text is the words that people use to link to you. So that's whatever those blue underlined letters are that link through to your site. Now, the content of those anchors has a quite significant but varying influence on your search engine performance. Now, it started out that anchor text is very, very important. Well, now, when websites were less well optimized on site, using anchor text really helped Google understand what websites are about. Now, inevitably, people twigged this, and you got what was known as a Google bomb. Now, Google bomb is where lots and lots of people, tens of thousands in lots of cases, would link to a particular page or a particular website using a particular anchor text. Now, the most repeated example of this was miserable failure. Apology if you've heard this example before, but it is the definitive example of a Google bomb. Now, that's where tens of thousands of bloggers unhappy with George W. Bush's handling of the Iraq War linked to his biography on the White House website using the words miserable failure. Now, miserable failure then weren't words that were featured on the page in any way, shape or form, but in Google's eyes, because tens of thousands of people were linking to this page using those words, it made perfect sense that that page was about miserable failure. Now, Google don't like it when people so publicly mess about with their algorithm. So what they did is they turned down the importance of anchor text to a certain extent and required that the words that were linking to that page probably had to be on that page to have the benefit. So if your page didn't contain the words miserable failure, it didn't matter how many people linked to you for the words miserable failure, you wouldn't rank because it wasn't there on the page. But you can still look at any number of different results and see the influence of the search engine, of the anchor text there. Now, if you search for caffeine, a page on the Google website about their Google caffeine change in the algorithm ranks very, very highly on what is a very frequently used word. Now, caffeine is mentioned on the page, but it's not that highly mentioned on the page. Not that frequently compared to some of the pages that it's outranking, which have their own very good link portfolios. The reason that page performs so well is because it has caffeine on the page in some places, but has tens of thousands of links pointing at it using the word Google caffeine. So therefore, in Google's eyes, that page is fundamentally about the word caffeine. So what does that mean for you as a search engine marketer? Well, it means in some cases you need to get more anchor text to your website containing your keywords to help Google understand what your pages are about. I.e., if you sell triathlon bikes, which is the example we've used this week, you need to have people linking to you using the words triathlon bikes. But, word of warning, anchor text is one of those issues that's been around for such a long period of time that people deliberately go out there and absolutely spam their anchor text. And what Google are doing now is they're getting more and more sophisticated. So they look for what unnatural patterns in anchor text. So if you are a web page about triathlon bikes, some of your links will be triathlon bikes, some of them will be cheap triathlon bikes, some will be cheap tri bikes. Do you know what I mean? They'll look for natural variation within it, and some of your anchor text will be branded, so it might be Evans, you know. What they're looking for is a natural spread. So now when you're trying to build links, don't only work on one keyword, try and work on a variety of keywords and also include some links which contain your branded terms. So, now onto the demo. Using Open Site Explorer again, there's a couple of tools that can do this type of thing. Open Site Explorer and Link Diagnosis are two of the best, but Open Site Explorer is the one I'm going to do the demo on. I'm going to hit click and get link data like we've done for all the other ones in Open Site Explorer. But along here we have different tabs. So we have linking pages, top pages, linking domains, and we're interested in anchor text distribution. Now what we can see here is the top 50, I think you can get more as well actually, if there are more, anchor text pointing to the site. Now Evans here, we've got Evans Cycles, a branded term, how many linking root domains and how many links there are of that anchor text. Again, the URL, very frequently an anchor text. The brand name, an image, so therefore an image doesn't have anchor text in that same way. The URL, some particular string of words here. Website, Evans Cycles, no anchor text. Evans Cycles, da, 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 da. Now what you'll see here is this website has a anchor text distribution that's very natural for a big brand, i.e. that is doing PR, that's doing offline advertising in some shape or form. Now, if they wanted to perform a little bit better on triathlon bikes, there's an argument that maybe they should have a few links pointing to that page of the site about using that particular anchor text. Now, in this case, they've got a very good spread of links here, and probably their link building has been focused around their brand, which makes sense. But they might be able to do a little bit better on certain terms by containing more keyword anchor text. Now, that doesn't mean hundreds, and it doesn't mean all your links need to have keyword-rich anchor text. But what I would suggest is running a report like this for yourself and running a report like this for your biggest competitors and seeing what proportion are branded to non-branded and try and keep a similar ratio in your case. And if you have no keyword-rich anchor text at all in your backlink portfolio, explore introducing some in some way, shape or form. Now, how do you get anchor text? It's difficult. When you ask for links, very rarely will people link using the words you want. So instead, the best way to get anchor text links is either using some of the lower quality but more under your control link building methods like article writing. But actually what I find is the best way is producing content that is titled under that attract links. So in Evan's case, they might want to write about the 10 best triathlon bikes. As that content attracts links, the obvious anchor text people use to link to that is the title of the piece. And therefore they begin to see the benefit of ranking, of getting those kind of links with that kind of anchor text, which helps them in both ways. It's easier to attract links in that way, but it also gets you the kind of anchor text that will enable you to perform better on a particular search term.